What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Evan and I make videos about hot stocks, dividends, and options. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload. Today we're going to go over some of the newer technologies that NIO is working on, and actually a new self-driving chip that they're working on in-house, so they're producing it themselves. And we're going to go over how that could affect NIO and some comparisons on how they compare to Tesla when Tesla was first beginning to create their own self-driving chips as well. But on the daily chart today, NIO is down 2%, and the past few days they've actually been pulling back a little bit. As we can see on the 1 week chart, they're down over 6%, almost at 6.5% down. And they've had a slight taper down and a slight downtrend this past week, but I don't think it's anything really to be concerned about. I think most people are expecting NIO to pull back a little bit since they hit those new highs around $29 and almost $30. So I think it's healthy for NIO's share price to pull back a little bit. And I wouldn't be surprised even if they pulled back all the way to $25. And I've mentioned before, I think they could possibly pull back to 21, although it's probably not super likely. I think the most they would pull back is probably around 25, but they might not pull back at all either, because if we take a look at the 1 month chart, even over the past week or so, NIO doesn't look like they're pulling back too much. They look pretty flat in the past week or so, and I still think they're forming a support line around $27 or so. And so as long as they can stay around this $27 and not drop too far from 27, things should be alright for NIO going forward. The only concern would be if they drop too far below 25 and maybe even below 26. Then it's kind of hard to predict how far they could drop down, and that's when maybe they would pull all the way back to $21. But if that was me, even if NIO did pull back to 21, I would just load up on more shares and just get a lower average cost, especially for those of you who have a higher average cost around $27 or $28. If NIO pulls back, for me, that would just be a better buying opportunity. So now this is what you guys clicked on this video for, and this is NIO's in-house self-driving chips that they're working on. And it actually somewhat comes as a surprise because, as you guys probably know, NIO isn't really producing their vehicles right now. They actually outsource their vehicle productions to JAC Motors, and they actually are working on a new partnership with them and a new deal to help NIO produce 150,000 vehicles per year, which is equivalent to 12,500 per month. And they're hoping to produce those 150,000 vehicles by the end of 2021. So I'm surprised to see NIO working on their self-driving chips in-house, like working on these chips themselves, because they actually outsource their whole vehicle production right now. And a lot of investors are actually concerned that NIO is outsourcing their vehicle productions right now, and they think NIO is too overpriced right now, and they're waiting for NIO to produce facilities where they can actually make their own vehicles and manufacture everything themselves without having to outsource it to JAC Motors. But looking at the time scale and how young NIO is right now, I think they should take advantage of other companies helping them and being able to outsource everything right now. Because if they weren't able to outsource, NIO would have been bankrupt a long time ago, and they wouldn't even be where they are today. And even if they were able to manufacture everything themselves right now and actually produce their vehicles and do everything in-house like they are for the chips right now, they wouldn't be able to produce nearly as many vehicles and hit these delivery numbers that they're hitting right now. All these delivery numbers, like the 4,700 deliveries just in September, that's all thanks to JAC Motors, because without them, NIO wouldn't hardly be producing anything. But going into 2021, once NIO is able to start creating their own facilities to manufacture vehicles themselves, on top of their continued partnership with JAC, they're going to hit those 150,000 unit deliveries by the end of 2021. And then in the next few years, they want to double that to 300,000. And that's when you'll see NIO really compete with Tesla, especially because they're still in China, keep in mind, with 1.4 billion people. And there's a lot of wealthy people in China that they're really targeting these vehicles towards. But now getting back to NIO's chips for their autonomous driving, according to a Chinese news outlet, 36KR, they reported that NIO is planning to embark on in-house research and development to create these computing chips for their autonomous driving. Now, it doesn't say where NIO is currently getting their chips from, and at this time I'm not even 100% sure how NIO's self-driving or their Navigate on Pilot works, And I'm not sure if their vehicles already have it or if they can just get it over the air like Tesla vehicles. I know they can receive updates over the air, but I don't know if previous NIO vehicles already have all the hardware on the vehicles to provide self-driving. And I also don't know where, if they already have Navigate on Pilot, where they're getting these chips from and who's developing them. But I think in the long run, it's definitely good for NIO to be producing these chips themselves, even if they are outsourcing them right now. And even though it is in the beginning stages, right now it's being supervised by NIO's chairman and CEO, William Li. And so I think this is definitely something bullish for NIO going forward. Especially if you add on top of them producing their chips in-house, once they begin manufacturing their vehicles themselves as well, that's when things could really take off for NIO. Now, the capital investment for this project would range anywhere from $150 million to $1 billion. And this is definitely dependent on how extensive their research is going to get. But this could potentially put a pretty big dent in their funding, and that could delay profitability. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But now a spokesman said that NIO has been investing in self-driving, and for specifics about the technology and how everything works in regards to hardware and software, the information about this stuff is going to be communicated on particular aspects when the time is right. And NIO also stated that they can't respond to individual rumors one by one. So it seems as though right now there's not much information about these chips and their research and development going into them. But I'm sure we'll find out more going forward, especially coming into NIO Day, which is in January. They will likely release more information about these chips and just overall new technologies that they've been working on in the past year. But according to NIO, these internal chips are part of the company's full self-driving computer, and each chip is able to perform 72 trillion operations per second. Now, I don't even know how somebody can even wrap their mind around how extensive that is. And I don't know how that compares to Tesla's self-driving and the chips and software that they use. And I don't know even what to compare that to. That just seems outrageous. The amount of information it can run through in so little of an amount of time. It's just amazing. But also to kind of give you a comparison, comparing NIO to Tesla, Tesla has actually been around quite a bit longer than NIO, and they only began developing in-house system on chips in 2019. So only 1 year ago was when they began to develop them, and NIO is hoping to do it quite a bit sooner than that in comparison to how long Tesla was around before they did it. And it says that NIO is looking to follow in the footsteps of Tesla, boasting a vertically integrated unit for their manufacturing electric vehicles. And I think that's a good idea for NIO going forward. If they're going to follow in Tesla's footsteps, I don't see why that would be a bad thing, because Tesla is obviously pretty successful and they've gained a lot of traction in the last couple years. And I believe they're the top auto manufacturer in the world now. I could be wrong, but I believe they are. So I don't see why NIO wouldn't follow what's working already for the biggest auto manufacturer there is. It seems like the smartest move to me, but the only difference being that everything for NIO is developed in China, where Tesla is mainly a US company, or at least they're known as a US company to investors. So taking all this into consideration, I think NIO is still priced pretty decently. I think they could pull back a little bit more throughout the rest of this week and possibly into next week. Because like I mentioned, I think a lot of options traders are still influencing the price of NIO pretty drastically. There was a very large amount of options traders investing in NIO with calls expiring last Friday. And I believe the same thing is kind of trickling over into this week and possibly next week as well. And I think that's possibly part of the reason why we're seeing this slight taper downwards for NIO. Now, I don't think if these options traders sell all their calls and get out of their positions that NIO is just going to drop like a rock. But I think it definitely has something to do with why NIO is still so high and why they haven't pulled back too much. But long term, especially heading into early 2021 with NIO Day and their expected deliveries of over 12,000 per month, NIO should see a nice recovery in their share price, and we should see them go up a decent bit going into 2021. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, and nobody can really predict a stock, but I think with all the good news for NIO, especially going forward, and now they're planning on producing their own chips in-house, which it's not huge news, but it's definitely something that helps NIO. All these small things add up to a bigger picture and should help NIO definitely long term. So for those of you who are interested in investing in NIO, are you still adding shares right now, even though NIO is around $27 and $28? Or are you waiting for NIO to pull back? I kind of want to hear what you guys are doing in terms of buying NIO shares down in the comments. Also, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, make sure you sign up using the link in the description. You'll get 2 free stocks, both worth a minimum of $8 and potentially up to $1,600. And this promotion ends at the end of the month. So make sure you sign up and deposit $100. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one. Bye.